9 months after a teenager vanished on her morning bike ride, a Polaroid turned up in a parking lot. A girl and a boy, bound, gagged. Lying beside her, a paperback of her favorite book. Scotland Yard studied the photo and said it was her. A United States weapons lab said it absolutely was not. The FBI looked and couldn't decide. They still can't. Her name was Tara Calico. This is the photograph the world has been staring at for 37 years, and the one question it has never answered. September 20th, 1988, Belen, New Mexico. A small railroad town south of Albuquerque, a few thousand people pressed up against the Rio Grande, where the high desert runs flat and open to the horizon in every direction. Tara Calico was 19, a psychology student, an athlete, the kind of disciplined young woman who rode the same loop almost every single morning, out along Highway 47 and back, roughly 34 miles, training for a tennis match she was supposed to play that very afternoon. People in town knew the route. They knew the rider. There was only one thing different about that morning. Her own bicycle had a flat tire, so she took her mother's instead, a neon pink Huffy mountain bike that stood out against the brown desert like a flare. On a road that empty, you could see it coming for half a mile. Before she left, she told her mother Patty one thing. If she wasn't back by noon, come looking for her. It was the last instruction anyone would ever get from Tara Calico. Noon came, and Tara didn't. The last confirmed sighting put her about 2 miles from home, still pedaling along Highway 47. Witnesses noticed something else on the road that morning. A light-colored pickup, an older model with a camper shell on the back, trailing close behind her, not passing, not turning off, just pacing her mile after mile. More than one person on that highway saw it. The driver never came forward. The truck was never identified, never found. It simply followed Tara down Highway 47 and out of the record, taking whatever it knew with it. When noon came and went, Patty did exactly what her daughter had told her to do. She got in the car and drove the loop herself, scanning the shoulders. And what she started finding along that road stopped her cold. Scattered along the route, miles apart, were pieces of Tara's Walkman, her portable cassette player, and a cassette tape. One fragment a few miles from home, another nearly 20 miles out, as if she had dropped them deliberately, one by one, across the desert, as if she'd been trying to leave a trail for someone to follow. The neon pink bike. The one thing impossible to miss in that desert was never found. Not that day, not in the 37 years since. Police flooded the area. Search teams walked the highway. Dogs worked the riverbanks and the irrigation ditches that cut through the valley. And they found nothing. No bike, no clothing, no sign of a struggle on that open road. Belen was a town of a few thousand people, the kind of place where a missing teenager wasn't supposed to be possible. Doors that had never been locked started locking. But in those first crucial days, the investigation stumbled. Leads were logged late. Evidence was handled in ways investigators would later regret. In a case like this, the first 48 hours are everything, and they slipped away. Weeks passed, then months. The trail that Tara may have tried so hard to leave went cold in the New Mexico sun. Most missing persons cases that go quiet stay quiet. This one was about to do the opposite, because one person refused to let it disappear. Her mother, Patty Doel, became something the kidnapper almost certainly never expected, a force that would not stop. She printed flyers by the thousands and mailed them across the country. She took Tara's story onto the biggest stages American television had, the daytime talk shows, the primetime mystery programs, the kind that millions of households watched every single week. If there was a camera that would point at her daughter's face, Patty found it. She did it because she understood something cruel about how these cases really work. A missing girl is a headline for a day, maybe two. Then the next story arrives, and the world quietly moves on, and the case slides into a drawer. Patty Doel decided that was not going to happen to Tara, not while she was breathing. For 9 months, that was the case. A mother shouting into the silence, with no body, no bike, and no answers. And then, more than 1,000 miles away, in a parking lot in Florida, the silence broke. A stranger looked down at the ground and picked up a photograph. June 15th, 1989, Port St. Joe, Florida. A woman is leaving a convenience store when she notices a Polaroid lying in a parking space, a space a white, windowless van had just pulled out of. She picks it up, and what she's looking at is 2 people lying down in the back of a vehicle, a young woman and a young boy, their mouths covered with tape, their hands bound. The young woman's eyes are open, looking toward the camera. And then there's the detail that turned a disturbing photo into a national obsession. Lying next to the girl is a paperback book. The title is readable. It's a V.C. Andrews novel called My Sweet Audrina. My Sweet Audrina was one of Tara Calico's favorite books. Investigators checked the one thing they could measure for certain: the film. The Polaroid stock used could not have been manufactured before that May. Whoever those 2 people were, the picture had been taken recently. They could still be alive. Patty Doel was certain. She studied the image and saw her daughter, even accounting for time and fear and a year of whatever this girl had been through. She pointed to a scar she said matched a scar on Tara's leg. But a grieving mother's certainty isn't evidence, so the photograph went to the experts. And this is where the case splits in two and never comes back together. Scotland Yard in London enhanced and analyzed the image. Their conclusion? The young woman is Tara Calico. Then the photo went to Los Alamos National Laboratory, the same New Mexico facility that helped build the atomic bomb. Their conclusion was the exact opposite. The girl in the Polaroid, they said, is not Tara. And the FBI? The FBI analyzed it too. Their verdict? Inconclusive. They could not say yes, they could not say no. 2 of the most respected forensic operations on Earth looked at the same square of film and saw 2 different people. And then it happened again. More Polaroids surfaced, one near a construction site in California, another said to be taken aboard a train, each one reopening the wound, none of them answering it. There was still the boy. The child gagged beside her in the photograph. If you could identify him, maybe you could identify her. And there was a name that fit too well to ignore: Michael Henley, a 9-year-old boy who had vanished in New Mexico just months before Tara, gone on a hunting trip with his father in the spring of that same year, there one moment and swallowed by the wilderness the next. 2 New Mexico children missing in the same window in the same state. 2 missing New Mexico children. 1 photograph. For a while, the theory held the case together. People believed the boy in the Polaroid was Michael. Then, in 1990, that theory collapsed. Michael Henley's remains were found in the Zuni Mountains, far from any road, far from any kidnapper. He had died of exposure, lost, not long after he disappeared. He was never in that van, which meant the boy in the most analyzed photograph in American missing persons history was once again no one, unidentified, to this day. Years passed with no arrest and no body. In 1998, a court did the only thing it could. Tara Calico was declared legally dead. The ruling called it a homicide, a murder, with no victim ever recovered. Patty Doel kept fighting anyway. She moved away from New Mexico, but never away from the case. She carried her daughter's photograph for the rest of her life. In 2006, Patty died without ever learning what happened to her daughter. The mother who refused to let the world forget Tara never got her answer. Then, in 2008, the local sheriff said something startling in public. He claimed he knew, in broad strokes, what had happened. That young men from the area had been following Tara, that she was struck, that there was panic, and that her body was hidden. He said he believed he knew who was responsible. But belief isn't a body, and a theory isn't a charge. No names were made public, no one was arrested, and the case sank back beneath the surface. For a while. Because cold cases don't always stay cold. They flicker. In 2009, 2 anonymous letters arrived at police in Florida, the same state where the Polaroid had surfaced 20 years earlier, containing photographs and fresh claims about the case. Investigators tested them, chased them down, and they led nowhere conclusive. But each one proved the case was still alive in someone's mind out there. In 2013, a dedicated task force was assembled to work the file again from the beginning. In 2019, the FBI did something it reserves for cases it truly wants cracked. It announced a reward: $20,000 for information that could finally break Tara Calico's disappearance open. And in 2021, investigators executed a sealed search warrant at a private home in the county. They didn't say what they were looking for. They didn't say what they found. Something was building behind the scenes. For the first time in decades, the people working the Tara Calico case sounded less like they were searching and more like they were closing in. June 13th, 2023. 35 years after Tara vanished, the Valencia County Sheriff stepped up to a podium and said the words the family had waited a lifetime to hear. There was now, she said, sufficient evidence to send the case to the district attorney for possible charges. She said the persons of interest had been identified, but their names were sealed by court order. She said every theory the public had ever floated about this case had been ruled out. The answer, she suggested, was real, and it was close. And then the case went quiet again. As of today, no one has been charged. The district attorney has not filed and has not declined. The names stay sealed. Investigators have searched new ground, even an abandoned mine shaft north of Belen, where a collapse could hide what was never found. The old rumors, including a notorious local predator, have been examined and set aside. The evidence sits on a desk, and the clock keeps running. 37 years. A 19-year-old who went out for a bike ride and never came home. A neon pink bicycle that has never been found. A photograph that 2 of the finest forensic minds in the world examined and could not agree on. One saw Tara, one swore it wasn't. The FBI couldn't tell. And so it sits, unresolved, the way it has for nearly 4 decades. Her mother died still carrying her picture. Her younger sister carries the case now, still asking the same question into the same silence. Somewhere, there are names. We know that now, the sheriff said so. They exist. They're written down. They're sealed in a file on a desk in New Mexico. The world has stared at Tara Calico's photograph for 37 years, looking for the answer inside the frame. But the answer was never in the photograph. It's in that file. And it is still, tonight, sealed.